Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, now welcome back to Reframe Master Podcast. My name is Carson Brooks. In this episode, we're going to talk about multitasking. Multitasking. And the reason why this episode came up because of what my work entails. My work entails me have to be using like multiple monitors. I have to be able to talk to person and solve their problem at the same time. And then me, while I'm looking for their problem, I have to be like building rapport and connecting with them. So like when I'm trying to find the issue. So if I'm not able to solve their problem immediately, I have to be talking to them me while I'm looking for the issue and stuff like that. So while multitask is not one of the best thing, as in the 95 world, time is of the essence and everything is you have to be able to do things as efficiently as possible. And multitasking one of those things you have to be able to be good at. You're not good at it, you're not get a job. You have to be able to can do multiple things at once. And this is not me saying that okay, it's a good thought, but what one thing I can tell you in multitasking, first thing you need to get a good amount of rest. This is why I stress that so many times in the previous episode, rest. Because if you're not 100%, if you're not fully rested, you'll be weird down to be able to do that. Your mind and your eyes and everything will actually fade. Will actually start to not fade. Will start to feel the pressure. Yeah, that's why that you have to be able to focus. Yeah, what you have to do multitasking. People always talk about I always one of my friends yesterday multitask and stuff like that. Multitask is not being able to do one thing at a time. What multitask is not, you don't want to be able to can do multiple things at once. What you have to do is that you have to know to be able to do the first task and the second task well. Then you're able to coordinate and switch between doing the first task and the second task. And then over time, then you're able to do both at the same time. Because what happens that if you're able to do both tasks, but you're doing both tasks poorly, you're not multitasking. You're just wasting people's time. If you know, so you have to be able to do both tasks well, so that the quality doesn't change. It's just that the speed of you doing things gets better of doing that. So if you're multi, that's why if like for example, people are saying back in high school, like people are saying, oh, I study while listening to music. Yeah, you can do that if you're multitasking, but what if you're still failing the test? You're barely passing. That multitasking is not working. You're basically barely passing the test, so that multitasking is not working. You're just able to listen to music and maybe read a book, but you're maybe not retain the information well. So multitasking, while it's a great tool, but you have to be able, before you say, okay, I'm going to multitask, you have to be able to do the main task first well and the other task well, then come together. So that's why in the work training stuff, we have been learning how to use the tools separately. Then we learn how to talk to the people separately. We learn how to do both separately so that when we're in the actual on the job training now, we're we're applying, we're doing both at the same time. But what happens is that we learn the skills that we need to require for both separately. Then now we're applying both of them, so we're better able. So that's one of the reasons why I said training method they do. It's a real. It's a. I said the business, the workplace is really professional because the method they use to teach you is really effective, and it allows me to multitask better. You know, yeah. And over as the week progresses, I'll be getting better as well because the method that they teach me with, they really it's really effective. So that's so going to the work, I know that's one of the things that I realize that you realize that yes, I'm a amateur and stuff like that, but when I go around real pros, that's when I see how real pros do it. I be like, yes, I have a lot to learn. You think you're doing stuff, and then when actually go into the real person that's doing it, and then they realize that yo, this is what how it's really done. So that's basically it for this episode, multitasking. The conclusion is that multitasking, you may have to be doing it for a certain task, but if you're multitasking and you end up with poor results, that you're not multitasking. You're just wasting people's time. Multitasking, you have to be able to do the first task well, and then other tasks they're doing well, and then be able to do both at the same time while not decreasing the quality. If you're decreasing the quality, you're basically wasting time. So that's basically for this episode. Thank you for listening, and look forward for the next episode. hmm
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Um, yeah, the topic is I want. Well, I guess I'll say it. The topic is sweater, but I guess there's a bigger lesson from the sweater. Yeah, but maybe when I tell the story, the topic will come. But basically, what happened is that so I take it during the 95 and stuff like that, and what I'm in now is in the AC, and for some reason I got sick. I got the cold. So in the workplace you're not allowed to wear hooded sweater, and that's only thing I had. I only had hooded sweaters. So hooded sweaters. So I